everybody, and welcome back to another video. So it's been a while since I've done an update on the 187 gallon tank, and as you can see, things are going really well. I continue to have a problem with just a lot of corals growing on top of other corals, so I guess that's a really good problem to have. So what I did recently is I did a lot of pruning for certain corals, and one coral that grows like a weed for me is this tub stiletta montipore. So I really had to, break back a lot of that colony, and a lot of it was getting close to the glass. So I had to remove that part of the colony just to make sure I could keep cleaning the glass in the front of the tank. But it was encroaching on some other corals. I've got this beautiful purple slimer behind it, so it was starting to encroach on that coral, and I made sure to cut back the tubs on where it was meeting the base of the purple slimer. It was also encroaching on a beautiful tenuis that I have, the Jackson's Rainbow Tenuis. So I fragged a good part of that coral that actually broke off a big branch that turned out to be kind of a godsend. Kind of can see it in the back there. It was really getting shaded a lot by the purple slimer as well as the tub stiletta montipore, so I moved it into the back, and I think that'll be a really good spot for it. Another coral that I was, has been a really fast grower for me is the Tyree Red Dragon. I love the Tyree Red Dragon. It's just a beautiful pink red coral. I love solid colored corals in my reef tanks. So this one is another one that grows like a weed for me, and the one on the right side of the tank was not too big of a problem for this alveopora in front of it, but as you can see to the left of it, if that pajama cardinal fish gets out of the way, there's a Tyree blue matrix there, and I've fragged that a lot, but it was definitely getting shaded by the Tyree Red Dragon. So I just took out a big part of that colony. I just removed it from the tank, and I fragged the heck out of it. Got some big frags out of that, but I put a big piece back in there. So now I have room for the Tyree blue matrix to grow, and I'm kind of just going to let that sit for a while and grow back out. I even have a couple other corals that were getting shaded by the Tyree Red Dragon. I've got an upscales microcladus. It's really tough to see here. I'll try to pan down a little bit where that yellow tang is. That was completely shaded out, and now you can see there's an encrusted base that is left. It's got some good polyp extensions, so hopefully that'll branch out for me. So for my Tyree Red Dragon colony on the left side of the tank, that thing was also just getting huge, and it was shading out a few different corals. I have this beautiful Cops pink table that was completely blocked, and like I did with the other Tyree Red Dragon, I took out the entire colony of the Tyree Red Dragon, fragged it up, and kept a big chunk and put it back in the spot where the original colony was. So fingers crossed that Cops table will grow back. I do see some polyps, and I am hopeful. I also have and I'm sure it's going to be very tough to see, but I also have a sunset Millie colony that again was also being blocked out by the Tyree Red Dragon, and that also is now showing some polyp extension. So who knows, perhaps that one will grow back as well. The Cali Tort, this thing really turned into a monster. It was 2 feet across, 24 inches across, and it was, well, it is shading out a couple of different corals. This Milka Stylo was, well, pretty much half of it was getting completely covered by that Cali Tort, so I broke off a huge branch of that, and now you can kind of see the pale part of that Milka Stylo, and I think that will grow back. I love the Milka Stylo. Again, it's another solid color, very purple coral, beautiful coral, just like the Cali Tort. It's a beautiful purple. Just love it. Now another coral that grows very fast for me is this ORA Hawkins. I've actually got 2 colonies in this tank. That colony on the middle right side and on the middle left side. So this colony on the left side was starting to encroach upon the Oregon blue tort behind it. So I did a little fragging to keep that at bay. And also I've got this beautiful Unique Corals Original Strawberry Shortcake colony that the ORA Hawkins was butting up against. So I had to trim that to give this coral some breathing room. On this side, the ORA Hawkins was getting close to the Tyree Icefire Echinata. So again, I trimmed back the corals just to make sure that that ice fire had some good flow getting to it. The Sexy Corals Orange Passion, which is really kind of growing and intertwined with the Cali Tort. I didn't really do anything to the Sexy Coral Orange Passion coral. I kind of like the way it's growing intertwined with the Cali Tort. They're not hurting each other. There's no bleaching going on where those corals are meeting. Sort of like morphing into to one coral, so to speak. It's not going to be a graft for sure, but I don't know. I kind of like the contrast in the colors in terms of the purple and the orange and the yellow and what have you. So, you know, otherwise things are going really well. I just think it's really important for me to keep the corals trimmed to be able to open up enough, you know, to keep the flow going in this tank. I love to have a lot of flow in my SPS tanks. So that is something I need to stay on top of. Another colony that seems to be bouncing back is my ORA Red Planet. And that was getting shaded as well by the big, gigantic Cali Tort. And that is showing signs of life once again. So the last 2 corals I want to talk about are my 2 favorite corals. So I'm saving the best for last. The Oregon Blue Tort and the Tyree Purple Monster. So the Oregon Blue Tort, a couple of those branches have been shading out the Tyree Purple Monster. So I needed to do some trimming on the Oregon Blue Tort. And my hope is that the Tyree Purple Monster will really start to branch out. It's been encrusting. I've had this coral for, I don't know, about 3 years, and it's just been encrusting, encrusting, encrusting. So now that I've cleared some of the overhead branches from the Oregon Blue Tort, perhaps it'll start branching out on me. I don't know. I will keep my fingers crossed. So, you know, I think it's awesome to be able to bring back some stuff that I presumed was dead because of all the growth I had in this tank. And it's important for me to keep on top of this. I do admit I've been a little bit lazy in that regard. It's great to kind of like look at a mature reef tank and see these giant colonies and think, well, I guess it's on autopilot, but it's really not. It's really something that you've got to constantly work on and to stay on top of. So that's the key, because before you know it, if you let things slide a little bit, it could go downhill really quickly. Okay, so that's enough talking. Why don't you sit back, relax, and enjoy some more video of the tank. Well, that will do it for this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. I also want to remind you about my premium SPS Frag store on ReefBum.com. I will leave a link in the video description below. I will also leave links from my equipment store. I do sell GHL, Royal Exclusiv, and PAX Bellum equipment, as well as Reef Octopus calcium and Kalk reactors. Many of these products I do use personally on my tanks. And lastly, if you are interested, I do offer an online reef keeping master class which focuses on SPS dominant reefs. Hey, I really appreciate the view. Until next time, be safe and be well. Later.